What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Dota 1 replay from the GMPGL Southeast Asian Grand Finals, Day 2. This is a group stage match between CnS, which I think is Click and something. Click and Skill, Click and Snipe, Click and Spell, I have no idea, versus SVR-ES. And SVR-ES is a Cambodian team, so we are finally in the group stages where we're going to actually see some Filipino versus non-Filipino action. And this time I'm going to have my mic not on push to talk. I'm just going to have it always on, so if you hear me drink some water or cough or anything, you're going to have to excuse that since apparently my old push to talk key is not working nearly as well since there have been some audio issues apparently. So I'm going to try to fix that by just always having push to talk off. So that way I can just keep up a continuous stream and I won't have any breaks, but you might hear me drink some water or some other bullshit like that. Anyways, CnS, again, 678, so these two bands make sense, although Spirit Breaker was never really a top-tier band in any case, but considering how much the Southeast Asian Dota 1 teams like to fight, then it's not too surprising to see Spirit Breaker being banned out. Anyways, Wisp, not really a Southeast Asian staple, but respected enough and maybe used well enough by SVRES that he was deserved to ban Shadow Demon. Not really a ban where you support these days, but still a very, very powerful early game support, and the early game is pretty much where all the action happens. Meanwhile, Batrider, Treant, Silencer, still not too sure about the Silencer being placed in such high regard, but I guess he sort of does dissuade actions, and if you do get that global silence off in an early game team fight, then you should pretty much win the team fight, because in the late game, yeah, you have BKB to counteract the effects, you can get a Linken's, and you can sort of survive a lot of the early burst damage by just outlasting the global silence, but in the early game, one global silence should mean that you should win a team fight every single time, even with its long cooldown. So these bans make somewhat sense. Meanwhile, CnS going to pick up the Puck, the Nerubian Assassin, as well as the Visage. Meanwhile, we're going to see SVRS pick up the Weaver, the Shredder, and the Jakiro. So right now, SVRS, they have some range on their side. The unfortunate thing is that Weaver and Shredder need a bit of experience before they can actually fight, as it does Viper, but Viper should be able to handle his lane for the most part. And I think this Viper being picked up right after the Shalfing is a pretty smart maneuver. However, Viper does not make great usage of the Bottle Crow. In fact, he really does not want to get Bottle Crow. And if Shalfing gets level 3, he can just spam the raisins and always have room control, unless SDR decides to do an aggressive challenge where they can put two supports on this bottom room at all time. If not, they're going to have to send one of their pulling supports here, and that might just be a bit inconvenient because they're going to lose out a bit on experience. So overall, I'm not too sure in favor, but we're going to say last pick Omni Knight. And Omni Knight is a hero that I'm a pretty big fan of, but I'm more of a fan of the Scotty Knight, where you just rush a Scotty. The typical pub-style Dota 1 days where you pick Omni and then you just farm for about 40 minutes, or actually it takes about 20 minutes. Maybe less if you get like only a Soul Ring and not a Soul Ring and a bottle and some boots to finish a straight up Scotty, and then you just go and chasing everybody, and then you realize, oh, I'm a Scotty Knight, I don't actually do damage, I can just chase forever. So that's not always the best idea, but anyways, gonna see Omni Knight in this game. Looks like there is no observer slot, so that's a bit unfortunate. Got to turn Fog of War off, and the last pick for SVRES was an Earthshaker. So one thing that SVRES do have going for them is that they have a lot of range. The bad thing is that they're not mobile outside of the Timbersaw and the Weaver, and those heroes want to get some experience. So if these three heroes get caught in an early game engagement, it's going to be difficult for the Timbersaw or the Weaver to get close to them unless they have some TP scrolls. And if they teleport in, then their towers could potentially get pushed. So that's a bit of an issue for SCRS. Checking out the weaknesses on the side of CnS. They have a lot of burst, but their main weakness is once SVRS heroes gets BKB, then it's not good news because that's pretty much the vast majority of the damage. The good thing is that SCRS don't have a natural diffuse blade carrier, so Repel should remain viable for quite a long period, as you don't really want to build diffusal blade on Viper, no point building on Weaver, especially since the feedback does not work in Dota 1. I mean, Dota 1 Weaver can't even build Desolators, so, a bit of an annoying situation, but a situation that the Scourge will have to deal with. So this Omni Knight could be a huge presence. Now, the reason why we don't see Omni Knight in professional games is how are you supposed to lane him? As he does need a bit of experience. He can't gank for his support, which supports do want to get, and he's not mobile for his support either. And all he really contributes is a good heal and some magical immunity. And yeah, that's really, really strong, but you want to get some levels online for those spells to become truly effective. But it looks like the CnS squad are going to farm this Omni Knight because he picks up a magic stick as well as a ring protection, so he did not get any of the support items. Mjolnir Assassin, not too many consumables. Visage got some wards as well as some consumables as well. So this is going to be a farming Omni Knight, and farming Omni Knight, not the best carry, but if they just try to get a lot of farm in the Shadow Fiend, which he should have a reasonable time since Viper, yeah, he does well against Shadow Fiend for the first 2 levels, but when Shadow Fiend hits level 3, then Viper really can't do too much. Yeah, Shadow Fiend will benefit really, really well from the magical immunity that Omni Knight grants him. And on the Scourge, the only thing that goes to magical immunity is Viper right clicks and Weaver right clicks, but there's going to be a bit of engagement as Soul Assumption going to fly and doing a lot of damage to the Jakiro. Jakiro will pop the Dual Breath. Interesting choice that he skilled that spell, and Jakiro should be able to escape, and he might get a regeneration rune on top of that, so some big boost for the Jakiro as he's going to have full mana and full HP. Meanwhile, Nerman Assassin is forced to burn through 1 impale at the very least, might even burn through a second. So in the end, Jakiro definitely benefiting quite a bit from this exchange. But yeah, back to the Omni Knight choice. And of course, since the large portion of the Scourge damage comes from magical immunity, the Guardian Angel just become a huge boost as Omni Knight's taking way too much damage. He has not skilled Repel, but looks like he'll be able to escape, as I don't know what spell he took on his second skill, probably DJ Aura, so that might have been why that these guys were a bit slower. Let's check out the creeps to see if they get the aura. I think the DJ Aura increase was 900, or maybe a bit shorter, I don't know. It's Ring Basilius Aura. I guess you can't really tell the DJ Aura, or maybe he just didn't really feel like using Repel since they already used his spells, and he felt like using Repel would not be the best idea. So, I mean, it will escape for now. Meanwhile, Puck vs Shredder, not a matchup you see every day, except in the mid lane. Definitely not something you see in the side lane matches. And Puck should be able to do pretty well, and you can see he's driving back Shredder by quite a significant degree. And the main problem with this matchup is that Shredder can't really ever kill the Puck. And Shredder in 1v1 matchup does sort of want to kill people if he can't sort of stay in lane against him. He just wants to bide his time, then uses burst damage to burst down heroes. But Puck is so difficult to burst down since he has 2 escape mechanisms. He can dodge one of the Timbersaw or one of the Shredder burst mechanisms with the phase shift, and if he tries to initiate with the Timber Chain, then he can just illusory orb out of there. So I do think this matchup does favor Puck, and right now Shredder is just not getting anything done, and actually Puck going to take a bit of tower damage. Whirling Death will be casted as Puck orbs into the trees. Very unfortunate. He's going to use his salve, and he does have enough mana to orb out of there. Meanwhile, Shredder, no mana, has 2 stick charges, and I guess he wants to get experience and get a couple procs on Reactive Arm, but what is he doing? He's going to pop the stick. One more attack will spell the end of him. Huge mistake by the Shredder, as he did not anticipate where the orb went to, but meanwhile, on the other side of the map, looks like the Dark Green was killed off. That is the Weaver managed to get a kill onto the Visage, so a nice rebuttal kill. If Weaver gets off to a good start, but Weaver actually dies. Very, very bad news. He died to a purification, so this is a very defensive trial coming in for the Sentinel. You can't really dive on tiers like Omni Knight, Visage, and Nerman Assassin without them getting a lot of charges onto Soul Assumption, or without them reflecting damage at Spike Carapace. It's just so hard to deal with it. But meanwhile, Omni Knight going to be trapped between a fissure and some trees. And Omni Knight looks like he will be able to escape as Nerman Assassin is going to come in. Ice Path will hit square on the face of Nerman Assassin. He pops Spike Carapace, but Weaver is there. Weaver will help secure the kill. Meanwhile, Omni Knight looks like he should have tried to teleport out earlier, but he didn't have enough mana unless he popped the stick charges. And now it's a bit too late as Weaver does come in, secures the kill, and now the Scourge have regained control. Meanwhile, all the while, Shredder has used all of his mana, immediately has hit level 5, but Puck actually even the experience, so Shredder not losing out as bad as I thought, but I can't imagine the CS is very impressive whatsoever. This Puck has just been having his way, and if Puck manages to pick up a fast dagger, that will just put a huge thorn to the side of the Weaver, who, even if he picks up Linken's, Puck initiation will just be really, really strong, because that Blink Silence, of course, does go through the Linken's. Meanwhile, the mid lane match of Viper vs Shadow Fiend, you can see Viper slowly but surely starting to get more annoyed as Shadow Fiend can just go into the jungle, raise some creeps, hit some creeps, stacking camps. This is a very, very Western / Asian Shadow Fiend style play where you just stack the camps, you push out the waves with your Shadow Raises, and then you clear out the neutrals, but it looks like he's going to miss some lane experience in the meantime. Definitely not really worth killing off one set of neutral camps for that, as he could have killed those neutrals at any time. Meanwhile, he lost 2 lane creeps in exchange, but he did get the stack off at the very least. So not all is lost, but Viper is now very close to level 6. Shalfin already level 6, but that Viper Strike could come into effect. All the while, Omni Knight gonna get blocked off by the Fissure yet again, has his boots of speed online, has all his 5 stick charges, so he should be A-okay. I guess that's sort of a pseudo push attack. It's like a 20 decibel reduction, so I just switch that when I need to cough. But I can't imagine that I'll use that except in dual cast. In solo cast, I just want to constantly be talking. So using push attack, I guess in retrospect, was not the best idea because did sort of forget. But right now, looks like Puck going in on the Shredder managed to pick up a really easy kill, and this Puck is going to become a huge problem. It has pretty much all of his core outside of some treads, so he can start working way towards the dagger. And again, I can't imagine that the Shredder has any farm, as Weaver is going to get mana burn, as I think he was under the effect of a Sentry, but they're going to go in on the Visage, taking a lot of damage. Already used a Soul Assumption, and that's only a level 2 Soul Assumption, as the Visage does fall. Earthshaker going to come in with an Illusion Rune. Can they get a successful block off onto the Nubian Assassin? Puck comes with a huge silence, and Jakiro now going to follow up with an Ice Path. Puck is still stunned, but Jakiro is so slow compared to the Puck, who's incredibly mobile. The Fissure is going to come through, but Puck, he will have the Aura in line. No, he's out of mana, not using the Magic Stick just yet. They're just going to give up the Earthshaker instead, as Omni Knight's trying to get a Purification Chaos. Here comes the Magic Stick usage, as he does finally pop the Orb. I think he could have potentially gotten Jakiro if he popped that Magic Wand a bit earlier, but maybe the Orb was still on cooldown. So this Puck just going out of control. You know, the Shredder not even boots, so this Shredder is going to be irrelevant for a long time. And by that time, Omni Knight will have Max Repel, Shalfin might have a BKB, and at that point, this Shredder is just going to be pretty worthless. As Raze is going to clip the Shalfin. I think he was on the effect. Yep, Corrosive Skin has been leveled up. As Puck is going to come in, pops the Dream Coil. Viper is going to stand fight. Nice phase shift to dodge the Viper Strike, as he does break the coil on pretty much the last instant. And Shadow Fiend, I think, no, Visage got the last hit on that. So this Puck right now playing out of his mind. Poppet just owning his lane and owning the early stage of the game. He is going to get such a fast stagger, and at that point, Weaver really can't do anything with his current HP pool. Really needs a Bracer, and really needs to hope that Puck flubs up some of his initiations if Puck does pick up the dagger relatively soon. But Puck, surprisingly enough, went for Phase Boots and Null, as he is delaying his dagger rush by quite a bit. Usually you don't see a laning Puck Null Talisman, especially against a melee hero, but I guess he might go for the Filipino Dagon Rush if he really wants to get a bit of extra burst damage, since he thinks the silences of the coil is enough. And he doesn't really need the Blink Dagger to follow up upon, as, again, the Filipinos do have different takes on item builds, and sometimes they work out very, very well. As Puck gonna get Timber Chain, gonna get fissured. Good, well-coordinated gank, as Nubian Assassin not gonna bother to use an Impale. He knows that the tower was not focusing each other, realized it was a waste of mana, and chose to conserve it rather than wasting a not-so-powerful nuke. Me on the mid lane, Shalfin's gonna get dove upon. Viper doing what Viper does, as the Shalfin will juke, but you can't juke forever against a Viper who has Tranquil Boots, as these are 6, 7, 8 Tranquil Boots, so takes 3 attacks to disassemble them, and he wants to have that extra bit of move speed. So Scourge starting to climb back a bit, and if this game goes late, I don't know who I favor. I guess I favor the team with the Omni Knight and Shadow Fiend. Although Viper with the Viper Strike can really slow down the attack speed that Shalfin gets. But Puck can initiate yet again. Fissure's going to come in. Viper is just praying for the coil to time out. That coil lasted for an eternity, as Nubian Assassin does secure the kill. But Weaver with the split push and the initiation power of the Earthshaker could be very, very problematic. So, I don't know. I think I favor the Sentinel by a slight amount, but the Scourge can definitely fight in the late game. But I think this Timbersaw is going to have to do a lot of work, because right now the Scourge, they're almost even in kills, but they're really losing out in terms of map control. Their Viper has died twice, their Shredder has died once, Puck has gone off to a ridiculously good start. But yeah, back to the Phase Boots build. It gives you a bit of move speed, it gives you extra plus damage, but Puck, you really want to have that extra bit of mana pool with the Intelligence Treads, and you want to have that extra bit of... what was I going to say? God, can't even remember. You want to have that tread switch so you can use your mana more effectively as Puck as well. So, not too sure about the Phase Boots. People like Phase Boots on Puck, but I'm not the biggest fan. I think tread switching is so useful on Puck. since once you get the tread switch, you don't really do anything else. But Shredder gonna get double upon. Very tanky, but not against the burst damage flying in. Jakiro's gonna come in. Already Grave Shield. Gonna pop the door back. The Wolf Man should clip the Nubian Assassin, but Nubian Assassin is level 6. The question is, how much mana does he have? Does he enough to pop the Vendetta? Visage is gonna get hunted down by the Viper. Puck's gonna come back in. Drops another 2-man call as they're gonna kill off the Visage, but Weaver's here now, and now Puck is probably in for a world of hurt. Puck is definitely gonna die as EE does manage to get the kill. That was Jakiro. Nubian Assassin gonna pop the Spiked as may use the Vendetta for initiation, but Weaver, with a timely teleport, does manage to secure quite a number of kills, but Viper got the bulk of the benefit in that exchange. All the while, however, Omni is getting a lot of those, has the Arcane Boots, and we'll see what he decides to go for, as usually for Omni Knight, getting straight up mech is not too bad. And Visage, what's his farm? He doesn't have anything close. But the Filipino teams don't really like making mech too often, so I don't know, they might go for a Shadow Blade Omni Knight. Who knows? He finishes his magic wand. But right now, the Shadow Fiend is becoming a huge problem. He's only died once, and he has the Shadow Blade online. So Shadow Blade against these very squishy heroes. Even the Timbersaw is not especially tanky at this stage. Gonna be pretty effective. Not rushing the BKB, and I think I like it in this case. I was not too keen on the last Shadow Fiend game I casted because, I mean, he went for a very late Lothar's Edge, but in this game, getting that initiation with the Nubian Assassin, pretty much functioning almost like a bounty hunter with that Nubian Assassin, as he's gonna cancel the Requiem, recognizing that we were just Shukuchi away, and the right clicks and the repel just doing so much extra work for the Shadow Fiend. Dreamcoil will be popping up to Weaver, as Jakiro will end up dying. Weaver is trapped, and he was just skirting around in circles, but Puck just comes in once again. Puck does die, but has already done his job. The Visage Familiar is going to try to chase down the Earthshaker, but right now Earthshaker just a little bit too tanky, but we're starting to see the problem. And another reason why he didn't go straight for BKB is because he has Repel, and Repel makes him pretty much immune to everything bar the Weaver, who does not want to fight into the Shadow Fiend just yet, and the Viper, who's always the primary target of focus, as one hit and a raise makes that a flambéed steak for the Sentinel, as they are starting to cement their advantage. Timbersaw or Shredder is going to come in, but he's not near any tree, so his damage not really as impressive as it otherwise would be. Here comes the return initiation. They're going to do Requiem themselves onto the Viper. Viper took way too much. Shredder is taking too much, as the raise was cancelled by Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend is just becoming out of control. Walks calmly through the ice path, and he says, Repel just means I can do whatever I want, and you can't do anything about it. Weaver is going to get a kill on the Shadow Fiend, but almost died from the straight up Requiem backlash since he was right next to the Shadow Fiend. Meanwhile, Weaver is still trying to do whatever he can. Gonna kill out the Visage as well. Meanwhile, Shredder managing to survive, as the Familiars will get a nice double chain stun. Weaver pops Magic Wand, very fortuitous, as they're gonna kill off the Omni Knight as well. Puck still has almost full mana, does manage to clip the Weaver just barely, but Puck is gonna die as well. Scourge with a huge rebuttal, as the Familiars try to chase down the Shredder. Shredder just a little bit too fast, gonna teleport out to safety. Weaver surviving by the skin of his teeth, gonna pop his 6.78 Tranquils. And this is Southeast Asian Dota 1, 14-15, as despite my lamentations for the Scourge, they have actually cemented a kill lead, and the tower count is even. And I think if the Puck just went straight into a dagger instead of going for a Dagon, this Sentinel lead would be much bigger. He'd have more mobility. But Earthshaker gonna get the, trying to scout out the Nubian Assassin. Nubian Assassin gonna come in once again with the Impale. Shadow Fiend taking way too much. Gonna get the Weaver, as Visage actually secures the last hit. But if you just look at the Scourge, I think they're going to take a little bit too long to build into their main items. Unfortunately, I can't check out the scorebar items. I just have to click them individually. But I can't imagine that any of these heroes have significant progression to any of their major items. Meanwhile, the Shadow Fiend doesn't need a BKB, and he has already a strong damage item. Weaver going to try to tank up. He needs to tank up against this Puck, who is going to go for Dagon. And looks like the Sentinel will pick off at least one tower. There is no way defending, because they know if they spend one teleport, then that is going to be an immediate mid tower. So Puck does secure the tower last hit, going to secure himself a Dagon as well. And meanwhile, Viper, no items. This is not Viper's day whatsoever. Really struggling, as he has 3 kills, but his farm just not too impressive. Yeah, it's only 15 minutes in the game, but I can't imagine the laning phase went so terribly. that he would have only Tranquil Boots and Poor Man's Shield. I'm still not too sure why he went for Poor Man's Shield in the first place. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of Viper Tranquils even before the patch change, because Viper's main weakness as a hero is that he's so damn slow. 285 base movement speed means that, well, he's going to be abysmally slow, as Weaver just getting blown the fuck up on the top lane. Fissure going to catch the Nubian Assassin. Chakram will start to slow down the Nubian Assassin for now. Puck is still there, as he still has a lot of mana. They're going to try to go in for the Nubian Assassin. Echo Sun will be used, but the Magic Wand going to be used as well. Shredder has had all his mana drain, as he's going to use the bottle as well as the Magic Wand to get himself back into fighting shape. But the mana burn's coming from the Nubian Assassin. Too much. Puck lying in the back lines as he orbed out to a bit of an awkward position, but will get the orb online. Will he try to go for the Shredder? He will not. Instead, he's going to turn his targets to the Earthshaker. Earthshaker has to get the hell out of there. Puck going to use his Magic Wand. Does he have Coil? Earthshaker buys a TP, but it's still on cooldown. Puck will see the Earthshaker on the basis of his curve, but all the while the middle tower was pushed down successfully. But yeah, back to Viper. Viper's main weakness is at 285 move speed, and he's a single target hero who can't flash farm. So if he gets behind, Viper gets really far behind. So, because he can't flash farm his way back into the game. And I'm a fan of Phase Boots Viper. Now, Phase Boots Viper is a bit risky because you don't get the extra bit of survivability that you get from Treads. But if I do get Phase Boots on Viper, which is majority of games, I'd then just max Corrosive Skin. And yeah, this is 678 Viper, so he doesn't have the 0-second cooldown level 1 poison attack. But even in 678, I'd still get 3 points into poison attack and max 1 point net attacks and max Corrosive Skin. So you can sort of get away with the Phase Boots Viper, sort of help mitigate his abysmal move speed, as Shredder is going to go and try to attempt to deny. Won't be successful, and Shredder might pay for it with his life. Going to be up Timber Chain on out of there, but Xiaofian just strutting in. The Swagger Fiend is back in business. Dota 1 Xiaofian. So fun to watch, as he is just swaggering up like a boss. This Lothar's Edge has just been paying huge dividends. He's not using it for defense, he's not using it for split push, he's using it for initiation and to get that extra bit of right click. Not even using it to channel Requiem of Souls. Instead, he's just going in, does not care. Puck gonna get a soul call onto the Earthshaker silence. He has the Dagon, but the Fog of War will prevent the death of the Earthshaker for now. But no, here comes the mana burn, as Spike Carapace helps seal the deal on that toasted steak. Meanwhile, Jakiro gonna come back in, but right now Stellan just being run all over. And with the Omni-Knight now, you have the Walking Fountain. He is gonna go for the mech, as with the Arcane Boots on both the Nubian Assassin and the Omni-Knight and the Visage, these guys will never have to go back to base. And that means the Scourge are in a lot of trouble because they can't really defend the push. Weaver, Jakiro's decent at anti-push, Shutter's decent at anti-push, but Viper is not. Weaver, not the best. And the Scourge starting to collapse, 20-16. CnS repping the Philippines, overcoming a pretty veteran team from SVRUS. I've never heard of CnS, but I have heard of it. Oh, beautiful two-man impale catching both Weaver. The familiar chain stuns on point. Beautiful communication, really well-positioned two-man impale, followed up by the familiars coming out of nowhere. Means that was an easy-as-pie double kill. And SVRUS, their veteran team, I don't recognize Samba, Hunter, or Sia. I think Nakim used to be a player when I was casting, so they might have exchanged a new roster. But right now, this new roster, not impressing so far. But I think the Omni-Knight last pick definitely threw them for a loop because the Xiaofian can just play so aggressive. Has already a Yasha as well as an Eagle Horn, just going straight into damage. Knows that he has the Omni-Knight to fall back upon. And the Xiaofian already hurting for about 230 damage per right click, with incredible attack speed and an additional 120 damage, 150 damage from the Lothar's Edge. And this Weaver could be in for a rude awakening as Nubian Assassin spies him with his little eye. The Shikuchi will save the Weaver for now as a bit of a blind impale. Guessed wrong. Jakiro just not proving his effectiveness in this game against the repel, because Xiaofian will just walk right through it and start right-clicking down that twin-end dragon. Puck now has the dagger as well. Things are going from bad to worse for the Scourge, as now these core items have come online. Mecha has been fished by the Omni-Knight. Triple Arcane Boots never go back to base. Not even going to bother to go to Rosh, because Filipino teams say, screw Rosh, let's just kill people. As they are just walking in. They're going to have to face some Fissure, but They're getting much more out of their farm. They're farming lanes, they're farming jungles, and that just means they're going to have a farm advantage on the back of that. Meanwhile, all the towers are still standing for the Scourge, or for the Sentinel, and even though the score is 22-16, which indicates a close kill score, I've got to imagine if there was a goal graph, it would be well in excess of 10k in favor of the Sentinel because of the tower gold, and because of their incredibly farmed Shadow Fiend, who's been farming left and right non-stop for the majority of this game. Can I see a CS? No, I cannot. Right, and that's the puck. Shadow Fiend is purple. Well, can't see it anyway. So that's unfortunate. But now with the DD rune, this should be an easy Roshan, as max level presence of the Dark Lord. We'll have a finished Butterfly after this Roshan has been finished as well, as he had 2200 gold in the bank. Visage Familiar is keeping an eye out all the while, and Trigger Drums have been finished by the Visage Django, as it's called in this game, Omnite. He's done his job. So I guess the Scourge might be regretting their decision to go with the aggressive Tron rather than focusing attention on Shadow Fiend, because one of it's not really a pet peeve, but one of the comments I hear about Shadow Fiend so often is that he's a semi-carry because he farms so much faster. And yeah, he farms so much faster, but he can out hard carry an anti-mage, he can out hard carry a lot of people just on the strength of his relic that he gets from the passive, as well as the minus armor that he gets from presence of the Dark Lord. But his true strength is the fact that he can farm faster, and if you don't manage him early, he can win a game in about 25 minutes, and he's well on his way to doing just that. Weaver, Justy, Yasha, and Tranquil's Viper trying to desperately build towards the Vanguard, and that just simply will not matter against the Shadow Fiend, who is now pumping out 260 damage and attacking at an incredibly fast rate. When with an Aegis, he can just do whatever he wants, and he's doing just that. Going to work on the tower. Gonna just get purified, and some optimistic raises, I suppose, as they're starting to go in. Here comes the Lothar's Edge, and they are just going to walk right through the Jakiro. Jakiro is usually a strong defender, not in this game with the Repel on his side. They're going to pop the Guardian Angel as well to prevent the Viper right clicks as well as the towers from doing any extra damage. First usage of Guardian Angel, not the best usage, but they haven't needed a better usage, as they are owning, and this should be the game, as this is a best of one in the group stages. So right now the Filipino teams look like they're playing pretty solidly, as I've got to imagine, I mean, there's literally nothing the Scourge can do. This Puck versus Timbersaw matchup, or Puck versus Shatter matchup, never worked out. Viper versus Shadow Fiend doesn't work when Shadow Fiend's level 3. An aggressive Tron against an Arabian Assassin and a Omnite, yeah, it worked out for a bit, but they just picked up a bit too greedy of a lineup. They weren't expecting that once Shadow Fiend picks up Lothar's Edge, the Sentinel are looking to end the game, which is not a common idea, even in the Filipino scene. But the damage, oh my god, it is too much. Mask of Madness, insult to injury. Well, not even an insult. Just picking up strong items, looking to end the game as soon as possible. And we see the power of Omnite with the BKB depend carry like Shadow Fiend. So, I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool strat. Maybe, well, I don't know. I don't think Omni and Gyro would be nearly as good, because Gyro focuses on the magical damage, and he doesn't need to be in people's faces like Shadow Fiend. But if there's more Shadow Fiend picks, which there will be, because he's a recently popular hero in Dota 2, then people might want to experiment with the Omnite, because he is doing work with the Shadow Fiend. Well, I suppose Shadow Fiend's doing work by himself, and Puck definitely had a large portion. He pretty much held down the early game by himself, and Shadow Fiend will finally lose his Aegis. No, won't even do that. Puck just going ham. Shadow Fiend going green ham and eggs. And that is going to be a GG. Nice game called. As Scourge, this game is clearly over. Just an absolute domination from the Sentinel. CnS, never heard of them. Probably won't hear them again after this turn, unless they switch to Dota 2, but they put up a hell of a performance, a really clever draft, good lanes, and they just had overall good mechanics. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully my mic is fine. It should be fine because I never use push to talk in this cast. But thanks for watching. I'll be back with more casts in this tournament relatively soon. 55 kills in 25 minutes, not bad. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time. Peace.